Everybody, this is the fourth video. I am so sorry that I've been away from doing videos, but haven't been feeling 100% and really did not have the opportunity to come back and do a video. Now I'm feeling a little bit better. I wanted to do this so that I wasn't coughing through the whole thing like I have in the previous videos. Enough about my health. Let's talk business. Where are we? We are still talking about the lemonade stand. We're talking about your book. So you all should have read at least the first 11 or 12 pages of the book to get a basic understanding. Now we're going to get into really chapter one is the exploring the world of business and economics, which is kind of like a basic thing. And then we're going to get into part two, which is business ownership and entrepreneurship, which is what we're talking about with the lemonade stand. So, business ownership, entrepreneurship. There are classes, there are lessons about owning a business, entrepreneurship, and so forth. There are all kinds of, people pay thousands of dollars to go to these seminars where they talk entrepreneurship, owning a business, blah, blah, blah. People go for their MBAs to learn about entrepreneurship, business, and so forth. And I'm going to tell you a radical secret, which is that the only way you really ever learn, these things are all good. They give you a background, they give you information. Accounting is good. I think accounting is the language of business. You need to learn accounting in order to own your own business. That doesn't mean you have to have a degree in accounting, but you should have the basic understandings of how to keep books and the accounting of your business and to understand how your business runs. And the same thing with your lemonade stand. You need to do an accounting of your lemonade stand, and that'll be the next lesson. Now, we do have the Jewish holidays coming up, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'll be incognito for those holidays. I will not be around, and I assume some other people will not be around either. I don't give you work over those holidays. But when I do come back, here comes the cough again. See, it's only when I'm on the video with you guys. When I do come back, I will formalize the assignment for the lemonade stand, and we'll do it. But so what happens is people pay all this money to learn about how to do a business, and if you ever sit down with real entrepreneurs and real businessmen, and you see them now, they're very available, especially like on YouTube, TikTok. You see these people who go up to these entrepreneurs and these business owners, and they ask them, do you have any advice for young people who are going into business? Can I ask you a question about it? And I can tell you only on my own level, as a business owner and as a small business owner. And a lot of what you learn in school, in college, in high school, and master's programs and so forth, it's all good. I mean, that's all good information. But until you actually do it, it's like swimming. It's like teaching someone how to swim from a book. It's great. You learn the different strokes. You learn, how to stay afloat from the book. You learn all these different things from the book, and they're all very helpful when you actually start to swim, because you need to actually do it in order to learn it. That's the lesson for today from Professor Goldstein. It's going to be a short lesson. The lesson is, if you want to be in business, and not all of you want to be in business. Some of you just are learning that you're taking this class because you need a credit, you need a business credit. Some of you are going to go into other things in life, but everything is really a business. I know from people who have graduated from Kingsborough, from people like yourselves, you could be a medical secretary in a medical office, and they ask you to do the books, or to keep the books for the medical office. Or you could be a doctor, or a lawyer, or a dentist, or you could be a firefighter. I have a good friend from my cigar store who is a firefighter, who has his own business. His business is contracting, and he has his own LLC. That's a limited liability corporation, LLC. We'll talk about that later on. So so he works, whatever the days he works as a fireman during the week, and the other part of the time, he has his own business doing household contracting. There are people who are teachers who have their own businesses. They do tutorials, and they do other types. They work at camps. They do other types of things. There are people who are sanitation. I have a sanitation worker who lives next door to me, or a couple houses down from me, who has a business selling on things online. So don't think that business is something that's just for people who don't have like a 9 to 5 job. I mean, who don't have 9 to 5 jobs. No, a lot of people who have 9 to 5 jobs have businesses as well. Most of the professors at Kingsborough, shockingly, even though they make decent salaries like myself, they also have secondary jobs. In fact, I would say 75%, maybe even more, that I know of, have work as a faculty member, but also have some sort of job. Like if let's say you're in behavioral sciences and you're a therapist, you have a job, you have your own private clients, and you are a psychologist or a therapist, that's a secondary job. Or if you work, let's say, at Kingsborough in Maritime, you might have like some sort of fishing boats, or own a fishing tackle and supplies store. Or you may be an English teacher, and you might be a writer, or you might be a journalist, or something like that. There are all types of other businesses besides teaching that they go into. So what's the point? As I ramble on, slow it down. So the point is that businesses are something that you need to not just theoretically learn about, which you will hopefully in the next couple of weeks with me, but it's also a practical application to being a business owner or opening up a business. And my dog, as he cries here, the lemonade stand is the first practical idea of a business. I want you to think, now you're not actually going to do it, but I want you to pretend in your head that you're actually going to do it. It's kind of like a leap of faith. Like when I opened up my brick and mortar business with my partners, and when I joined in with them, I had to imagine what the business was going to look like before I actually opened it. I had to figure out what it was going to be about before I actually invested in it, because you can't just, you have to you could put it on paper, you could write about it and so forth, but I had to see what it was like. So I went to work for a couple of days a week at other businesses, other cigar business. I wanted to see what the actual business day to day was like, because I felt that all the reading, all the talk, all the theoretical stuff didn't help me as much as dealing one-on-one with a customer, or a supplier, or someone who was coming in with questions. I needed to actually understand what the consumer was looking at my business. And it's kind of like what focus groups are. I kind of said what a focus group is, but many of you don't probably. Have any of you, I can't even respond, maybe you could email me if you have. Have any of you ever done a focus group? Usually they're at malls. You go to a mall, and there'll be somebody with a clipboard there, and they'll ask if you want to be a member of a focus group. They usually get paid pretty well for it. For like an hour, they'll pay you like $200 or something like that, $150 to sit there an hour and a half to discuss a product. They'll have a group of people, so they usually look for people of similar backgrounds for a certain focus. So let's say with me, they would look for, describe myself, white male, suburban, upper middle class. I wouldn't say middle. I'm more middle class. Middle class. Age range, 40 to 70. They might look for something like that, and they'll put us all in a room. People who look like me, who sound like me, and they'll ask us questions about a product. They might even ask us to try the product. We get paid for this. And there'll be a group leader who kind of leads us in a series of questions, and they want to see if we like the product, if we like the marketing for the product, if we like the packaging for the product, if we like the taste of the product, what we think, what suggestions we have for the product. And then they throw us out of the room and they bring in another group of people. So it might be Latino male or Latino females between the ages of 17 and 25, and from an urban area, lower income or higher, whatever it is. I mean, they'll, whatever that focus is for that focus group. They'll put them in a room, and they'll give them, either a similar product or something a little different, and they'll ask them similar questions to what they asked us, or maybe some sort of different questions more geared towards their age and their gender and their demographic. But that's what a focus group is. They want to see who is buying the product, what their reception to the product is. Do they like the advertising? Sometimes they'll show the commercial. Sometimes they'll ask for ideas. Do you have ideas? What would you want us to do? How would you want us to do it? They'll pick up ideas, and they usually use like a mirror in the room. That's a two-way mirror. And there's people who are from the company and from the advertising agency maybe and from the marketing company standing behind the mirror, usually now sometimes they just have a camera. They tape what they like and what they don't like, and they give it to the company. So they want to show the company, what the different demographics for the focus groups are telling them about the product. Now, a lot of this stuff is great. Okay, I got all these focus groups and everybody's telling me what they like and don't like. Then how come all these companies, these multi-billion-dollar companies, make so many mistakes when they send out a new product? Like, you guys probably don't remember because you're a little young, but at one time there was a company, Coca-Cola, and they decided, hey, they weren't doing well against Pepsi. Pepsi was capturing the young person's market. They had a sweeter soda. Their commercials and so forth were targeted towards young people, and they were taking a huge share of the market from Coca-Cola. So what happened was, let me slow it down. What happened was they had relied upon their focus groups and their marketing and everything that they had seen, and everybody said, oh, well, Coke needs to be sweeter, and I don't like the packaging of the Coke. You need new packaging. And everyone who's sitting around saying, oh, yeah, we need new packaging. We need sweeter Coke. And then when they actually delivered it to the market, after all these people and these focus groups told them, oh, you need to change it up. It's not working. Guess what? Nobody liked it. Nobody wanted it. Nobody liked it. New Coke was a huge failure. They spent billions of dollars on it. Hundreds of millions. Advertising it, developing it, marketing it, getting it placed. It was a huge fiasco for Coca-Cola. And they, plus they lose their pride. They've introduced this new product that nobody wants and nobody's drinking. Now they got egg on their face, which is a term which means that they got embarrassed, they were shamed. And so it didn't work out. So yeah, you could all these things are great. Focus groups, ideas, the actual standing in the store and talking to individuals and finding out what people want and don't want. Nothing beats that. And there are companies that do that. They have, they have shoppers that they hire to go into stores and buy certain things, and they see what they buy. But really, what really works is not you're paying somebody. And I've done this. One time, I'll give you an example. I'm going to give you an example of something you could do. Some of you young people at Kingsborough right now. So when Five Guys first opened in my area, it was the first time really I had seen it. It was mostly a southern company. It had come from Virginia. And I had never walked into a Five Guys before. And I was very impressed. I was very impressed with the cleanliness. I was very impressed with the food. I was very impressed with the look of the place. The peanuts, the free peanuts. If you've been to a Five Guys, the fresh meat, the fresh French fries, the overloading of the French fries, all these marketing strategies that they had. I was incredibly impressed. So I wrote a letter. First, I spoke to the manager. I said, listen, this is amazing. He said, would you write a letter to my my head of the franchise in Virginia. I said, absolutely. So I wrote this really long, beautiful letter saying I was a business professor and saying how astounded I was at how well this business was run and how polite the people were and how great the place looked and how I thought the idea was terrific and I think it's going to be a huge success. And I got a phone call. I left my phone number. They called me up and they said, listen, thank you so much for that letter. That was tremendous. It was your feedback was very helpful. Would you like to work for us? And I said, well, in what position? I have a position. I'm a teacher. I'm a professor. I can't really work full time. No. We'd like you to go to different Five Guys and just give us your impressions of that. And we'll pay for your meals and we'll pay for your travel and we'll pay you hourly to go. And you just keep your hours and you'll tell us about it. So I did that for about 2 years. I went around to different Five Guys in the Northeast and they gave me a little card that I could buy Five Guys food when I would go there. And the people there didn't know I was working for Five Guys when I walked in. And I would write down what I thought of each individual Five Guys that I went to. And they had a whole form for me to fill out. Plus I would give my own impressions of it. And they loved what I did. I pretty much went to all the Five Guys that you could probably go to in the Northeast, and I saw them all in those days. And, it was something that you could think of doing if you see a new business or something like that, is perhaps contacting the owner and letting them know your thoughts on the business. Always, one of the things in this class, and I'm going to go back to kind of getting off the lemonade stand for today, but I'll take it back up on Wednesday. One of the things you really need to do with your life and business, and this is for my class, and this is why this class is kind of like fun, is that you really need to go walk into a business, and if you work at a business right now, or you go to businesses, is ask a lot of questions and look around. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Sometimes people get bothered by them. Sometimes people love to talk about their business, especially if you're speaking to an owner. They love to talk about their business. But be inquisitive. Now, what kind of questions would I ask if I walked into a business? The first thing I would ask is, how are things going? I always ask that. How's your business doing? Are you happy with the way things are going? I always ask that. I start up a conversation. Hi, my name is Professor Gold. My name is Goldstein. I'm a professor at Kingsborough in Brooklyn. I teach business. You could say who you are. I'm a student. I'm learning about business. And then you kind of say, hey, I'm so curious about your business here. Can you tell me a little bit about it? Or how you got started? Or what are your profits like? What are your profit margins? I'm not going to tell you how much they're making, but you don't ask them how much you make a year, but you can ask, what's your profit margin like? Why do you have these products up on the wall over here and those products in the back? How did you set up your store? Did you have somebody come in and do it for you, or did you do it yourself? Is this the only business you own? Do you own other businesses? Learn a little bit about the business. Look at the business. Get a sense of how things work. Is it always, when you walk into a business, if it's a successful business or not. You look for, are there a lot of people there? Is it a long line? Does it get good reviews now online? The business, is it a happening place? Is it a store that's trendy that might fade? Has it been around a while? How long has the business lasted? Is the owner there, or does the owner have to go back and forth between other businesses? These are the types of things you want to learn. And I think as a student, as a college student, as someone who is moving up in life and you're learning things, you're going to learn from your professors, and you're also going to learn from people in real life. And sometimes those people turn out to be people who become mentors. Like I have now, as a owner in a store, many other owners of stores. I don't see them, some of them are competitors, yeah, obviously, but they're mostly in towns that are not my town, so I don't see them as direct competitors. But I do learn a lot from them. and I'm friends with a lot of them. And they also we help each other out with different things. If somebody needs cigars, I'll send it to them. If I need cigars, they'll send it to me. They help me out with vendors that they say, well, they'll call me up. Like, I'll give you an example. I have a cigar store call me up and tell me that this vendor is no good. Don't use this vendor. He's not honest. He's not. And then I'll kind of be, that doesn't mean that I won't deal with that vendor, but I'll be a little bit more wary of that vendor when I deal with them, especially if I trust the person who's telling me that. I'll say to myself, maybe I won't order a huge amount of cigars from this person. I'll order a small amount, or maybe I'll deal with them a little differently than I deal with other vendors. There's a sense of community and unity among some of our businesses, which I see in a lot of other businesses. When I talk to people who own other businesses, if you're not direct competitors, meaning someone's not, like if you're not a coffee shop that has a coffee shop right down the block, and even then, sometimes they help each other out, then you can learn a lot from other businesses. And I do learn a lot. I'm always learning. That's also I think the key to any good entrepreneur. So there's two keys, I think, really to being a great entrepreneur. One is, I think, luck. I think entrepreneurship has a lot to do with luck. And the other one is hard work. I think those are the two keys. But I think when I say hard work, I mean that you're constantly learning. You're never stopping. You're always innovating. And you're constantly building upon what you have. You never stop. So with my store, we're always, one of my partners, we're always changing things constantly. We're not keeping things status quo. Although status quo can be good sometimes also. If something works, don't break it. We're always adding things, doing different types of events, putting in new furniture, cleaning things, changing things around, moving things around, trying to make it more exciting for the consumer experience when they come in. Trying to keep things fresh, always looking for what's fresh. We have auctions, we have raffles, we do parties, we do all kinds of things at my cigar store to try to keep things, especially during, let's say, football season. We do all kinds of football raffles and dinners. We're going to have a dinner this week on Friday where we're going to go to a restaurant and use our cigars as part of it's a 4-course meal with drinks, and we're going to have our cigar from our cigar store. We're going to be the host of it. We have over 600 people that are going to be there. So that's what I mean by innovation, trying to come up with new things to create more customers and create more brand awareness and things like that. So with your lemonade stand, which is the first thing and the last thing I'm bringing up today. On Wednesday, I'll post another video about the lemonade stand. This will be the 5th video. This will be the actual assignment, and the video will be the assignment. In other words, I will tell you in the video what the assignment is. I'm not going to write it out. I'll tell it to you so you'll understand it, and it'll be very, very simple. It's one page. It's going to be real. So your lemonade stand is based upon who you are. Remember I said who you are comes from you. It will be based upon something that's different than just a regular lemonade stand. We're going to talk about how you're going to build a lemonade stand, what you're going to need for the lemonade stand, and then we're going to talk a little bit about maybe watching, some videos about people who've had lemonade stands, what makes their lemonade stands either success or have problems with them. And there are plenty of videos out there on YouTube. I'll post a couple of them to Brightspace, and we can watch a couple of them together. And that's basically it. So I'm not going to give you any work this week. It's weird. This week and then Yom Kippur, there's we have a lot of holidays coming up. So I'm not going to give you work. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't want you to do any work, even though it's not your holiday necessarily. I feel weird giving people work when I'm not working, so I'm not going to give you work during that. Wednesday, when I return, I will post a new video with work on it. So consider it a break, I guess. It's not really a break. It's really, if you'd like I won't be answering any emails during those 3 days. I won't be talking to anybody during those 3 days from the college. So that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So Wednesday night, I'll probably post it. Okay. Any questions or anything? Wait till after Wednesday to email me. And I wish you all the best. I hope this was somewhat helpful. I've actually had. I talked to some of my friends at the cigar store about some of them coming on and talking about their businesses, which I think might be helpful to you also, just to hear from people who started their own businesses and what the challenges were and what was important to them and why is it important to have a business, and I think it's very important to be at least once in your life try owning your own small business. It doesn't have to be a brick and mortar. It could be out of your house. It could be just a little business. But I think it's important to try it. Like it's important to try, Thai food once in your life. If you like Thai food, then, you keep eating Thai food. Or, if you don't like it, and I love Thai food, so, it's like try something different. Try a business. Doesn't mean you have to make it a huge business. Try a small business. I just want to see eventually all of you, like, put your toe in the water and understand what it's like to actually build, buy, develop something, an idea, and try to sell it, and then have somebody pay you for it. That interchange of creating something or buying something or making something and then having somebody pay you for it, many of you have already experienced, I'm sure. I'm sure some of you have been salespeople at stores and things like that. There's something about it that many of you may not have noticed. There's something very empowering about it. And I'm all about empowering yourself. I think the more tools you have as a person, education-wise, that help you become a better person, I think that makes you a stronger individual. So learning how to sell, learning what it takes to sell, how to make a sale, it's very exciting. And I remember when I was young as a kid, my first job was sweeping hair in a barbershop in Brooklyn. And I would get paid $1 an hour. That was my pay. I think, yeah, $1 an hour. And the other money I would get would be tips. I'd live off the tips. I mean, I was a kid. I was 12, 13 years old, maybe even younger. And the tips were I'd sweep up the hair, but people would want coffee and sandwiches and Danishes and things like that. There was a coffee shop next door, a luncheonette next door to the barbershop. And when they were sitting there or when they were in the chair, they would give me money to go get themselves a sandwich, a coffee, a milkshake. In those days, they would have a milkshake, French fries, a hamburger. And I would wait in the store. I was like, before Uber Eats, I was Uber Eats. And I would bring the sandwich into the store. And they would give me they give me the money, or they gave me the money and they would say, keep the change, kid. Keep the change, kid. So if it was $5 and it was a $3.50 or $2.75, that was a huge amount of money. I mean, I could make, in those days, $15, $20 an hour as a 12, 13-year-old when nobody was making that. That would be like making $60, $70 an hour now as a 12-year-old. It taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about hustle. It taught me a little bit about charm, how to be charming to the people. It taught me a little bit about, the interchange of money. And this is at a very young age, and I wasn't thinking about it then, but I kind of understood it as a way, the nicer I am, the friendlier I am, the more hustle I show, the better my tip. Usually. Not all the time, but, Usually they would say, and those words, keep the change, were my favorite words as a kid. So that's something I always think about when I think about business. It's, how you present yourself, how the store looks, how you present your lemonade stand, how you market your lemonade stand, how you sell it, the ingredients, the way you present it, the words you use, the people who are on the corner when you're selling it, how you act towards people. Listen, sometimes people will buy from someone just because they're nice. I mean, really, that's how it works. You have a good salesperson. Sometimes they're buying from you not because they really want the product, or they may up when you people upsell, you may buy from them. Oh, okay, I'll take the Coke, I'll take the extra large Coke because the person was like, "Hi, it's or welcome, sir," or "How are you today?" People react to that. They sometimes react. Consumers, especially, love people who treat them well. The better the service, the better they feel. So we'll talk about that also in terms of business. I'm going to stop the video on my cough. Looking forward to our next video on Wednesday. For those who are celebrating the holiday, have a happy holiday. And those who are not, have a happy holiday yourselves. I know classes are canceled during that time, so you don't have classes. I wish you all the best. I will talk with you all soon.